Okay, let's get class started. We got probably 40% of people are not here yet. Is Carlos and Franco going to make it also? No idea. They're not your people. That's okay. This morning I forgot my, didn't forget them. I couldn't find my office key when I left home. So, well, Michelle will have a key. Well, today Michelle took off. Michelle will leave her keys in her desk drawer. She didn't. She took them home. Mr. I'm gonna have keys. He didn't. So I called security. They don't have keys to the room from the office. So finally I got maintenance come up and open Sarah's office and mine and open Mr. Little's classroom. I'd gotten Karen Morgan on this. So then we have one of our candidates to back out. We were supposed to interview him today. His dad has extreme Alzheimer's and he decided to be a caretaker for his dad. And he's not going to interview. So we had to meet at 9 o'clock for that. So okay, so I get started off with a bad morning. But you know, it's still a good day. Nothing should be able to spoil your day.
Better now, isn't it?
It's better now, but you know, you just roll with the flow and don't get upset, don't get mad, and some of you like to get even. Okay, but anyway, it's a good day to be alive in Bluefield, Virginia. And if you get time in West Virginia, if you get time, Google the 10 worst places to live in West Virginia. Bluefield is. Beckley is. Branson is. All the towns around us is on the 10 worst places to live in West Virginia.
So they basically just listed as many places they could in southern West Virginia.
There you go. And the same thing in Virginia. On my side, the other state, Murray and Virginia was one of the 10 worst places. Gaylax, Witham, and Richlands, which I'm close to, were 10 worst places to live in Virginia. What? But what they base it on is the money spent in the school system per student. They base it on employment and available housing. They base it on a lot of things, so forth. They didn't mention Grundy, which is surprising. Any of these places I mentioned has more than Grundy.
Yeah.
Or even some of these other small towns in southwest Virginia. Anyway, but your attitude should be, it's one of the best places to live in West Virginia because that's where you live. What?
Oh, nothing.
Okay, so let's get back to manufacturing accounting, which we call it managerial accounting. And we may have looked at a little of this the other day. We have just went through 17 chapters of financial accounting. All right, and managerial accounting and cost accounting are definitely first cousins, okay? And financial statements for managerial accounting are for management's use, okay, and the company's use. Whereas financial, this may go to IRS, may go to stockholders, what have you. They have to follow GAAP. Management accounting does not have to follow GAAP. And Morgan, not Morgan, but Margot, what does GAAP mean? GAAP.
Like he just said,
What did he say?
I don't know.
Evans?
Generally accepted accounting principles.
Exactly. Generally accepted accounting principles. That's what we go by. And we do not have our generally accepted accounting principles in the United States are not the same all over the world. Different countries have different accounting systems, but some of them are similar. But the difference between managerial and financial, again, creditors, shareholders, government agents, everybody wants to know the financial accounting. Just to repeat that, this is pretty much managerial accounting is for management. All right? Daily operations, future operations, planning, budgets, and so forth. We don't have to know all these differences. Organizational chart, I mentioned that last week. Don't need to know that. That is a management term. Line and staff. You don't know the difference between line and staff? Well, you know the difference between line and staff? Anybody had management? You know anything between line and staff? Well, staff here is our secretaries, our custodians, our security. Line is the president down to the provost, down to the deans, down to the faculty member. But that, you don't have to know that. Now, one of the, Carlos mentioned in his country, his dad's an accountant. And he mentioned that it was Boyd, I think. I think that's what Carlos's dad told him. And it would be Boyd, yeah. So much wrong, so wrong when it came to being Boyd. My daughter got a accounting degree from Virginia Tech. She was one of the big six accounting firms at the time. And she got to travel 39 states, 100 and some cities, being an auditor. And she audited companies like Anheuser-Busch and even nursing homes and construction companies. And anyway, then she went on to be a cost accountant for Tennessee Eastman and then for Bush Beans. And then she became a budget director for a major hospital. And she wasn't actually doing that much accounting work. She was in management. All of your CEOs, all of your CFOs, they have the financial accounting background. So all your top managers in the big companies in this country. So it depends. Accounting has so many different branches. A controller and cost accounting. Some of our students, I have one student that went with the IRS. He's not doing accounting, he's going around and auditing people and making you pay more into the government. He finds it very interesting, okay? My daughter was an auditor for the hospital before she became a budget director. She found it interesting to go around to 30 different places to see if they were complying with government regulations and company regulations and so on. So it depends. There's so many fields in accounting, and controller is just one of them.
Yours is the most exciting though.
What, teaching?
Yeah.
Well, that's always an option. I was offered a controller's job with a major mining company. And they owned World Book Encyclopedia, and they had a major interest in Cincinnati rail. And I was in public schools at the time, and it was awful tempting. If I would be their controller, they would fly me to Cincinnati to see a Reds ball game anytime I wanted to. They had a kitchen in the office complex. They said staff would make whatever I wanted for dinner every day. I mean, that was a tempting job. Okay. That would be controller. I was offered a job at Furham. It was junior college at the time. Now Furham is a four-year college. They wanted me to be the assistant to the vice president of finance. And I would have been responsible for looking up the summer camps for cheerleading and football and baseball camps on that camp. I would have been responsible for the data processing of that college camp. And they said since I like teaching, I could pick any course, anytime that I wanted to teach. And so forth. Such a good offer. And they offered me a tri-level house for $100 a month. And I could order my furniture through the college and get their discount. And they had horseback riding and swimming pools and tennis. And all that was free. That was a little ways price from it. I don't know. That's one job I regret turning down. But I stayed in teaching and I came up here then in 79, about a year. Back to extension office. So flexibility in accounting. Okay. Anyhow. Again, I'm not worried about these management terms, planning, directing, controlling, improving decision making. You all do know what directing is, don't you, in some of your management terms? That's what I'm trying to do with you all, for one thing, is communicating, okay? Mr. Allen downstairs was one of my students. Okay. And when he got his credentials, I helped him get on faculty at college. And I told him about the job up here. I was on the committee to help him get on here. But he knows, when I tried to get him to come to community college, and then one other guy, I called him and we needed a data processing instructor one time, just before Mr. Allen. And I had a boss that was a retired Air Force colonel. Okay, so this guy I called, which was a friend of mine, to come to be our data processing instructor. He asked me what kind of boss that Dr. Cox was. Dr. Cox was my boss. Now, military in this country is authoritarian. You may have gotten that word from management. And what they say is goes, right? What the sergeant, captain, and the lieutenant, or whatever major colonel say goes. So he asked me what kind of boss I had before he would come to work there. And I said, I am the kind of boss that can tell you to go to hell. You look forward to the trip. If you ever get that kind of boss, you're lucky. And I had that kind of boss. Okay? And that guy put his application, we hired him, and later he became my boss. Okay? And if you ever have employees under you, you be the kind of boss that can tell your employees to go to hell and they look forward to the trip. Okay? All right, that's enough about management and my take on it. A lot of planning in managerial accounting. Directing, like I say, communication is a big part of directing, getting things done. Your management textbook might tell you management is getting things done through and with other people. And I don't know what your management book has, but back in my day, we had theory X and theory Y and so forth when it comes to management. Then we came up to a point where employees actually helped make decisions in the company. Employees became owners. Walmart gives stock. So those employees, if they steal, shoplift, they're stealing from themselves because they own stock in Walmart. Okay. So management has came sort of a long way. Controlling feedback. I want to get down to the nitty gritty, which we looked at last week, the guitar making. Now, what ingredients, Alexandra Fanning, did I say it took to make a product? What are the 3 ingredients?
Paper, materials.
Factory overhead. Materials, labor, and factory overhead. Okay? Is Eva still looking for an argument? Anyway. All right, materials, labor, and overhead. Does anybody remember what I said about economics? What were the 4 factors of production in economics? Anybody remember? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur ability, which was investors. Okay. All right. And I mentioned everything that you have with you today is from manufacturing. Your clothes, your glasses, Millie's case or hearing aid, but everything you have with you, computers and books, is manufacturing. So manufacturing is big. Do we have any manufacturing that you know of in the Princeton, Bluefield, whatever area?
Taper machinery.
Then what?
Taper machinery.
Paper machine?
Taper
What do they make?
mining equipment.
Okay, where are they located?
Princeton, out by the trash.
Is it a pretty big factory?
Not a factory. It is, but it isn't. They have about 4 buildings.
They have 4 buildings, but they make machinery from scratch. Okay,
Yeah.
that's manufacturing. Joy, I don't know if they make machinery now or not. Carter, I know they repair Caterpillar, and they used to make something. Do we still have a bottling company in the area? Or a Coke plant, that's
There's a Pepsi
manufacturing.
plant. I don't know.
What?
There's a Pepsi plant. Yeah, in downtown Princeton.
Is there any kind of sewing factory or anything like that still in the area? There used to be. So there's more manufacturing than you think in the area, but you could use more manufacturing. Then you retailing, look around and you've got retailing everywhere. If it's a grocery store, a zip-in market, the mall, whatever, you've got retail. And you got plenty of services around, whether it be a doctor, attorney, a beautician, a barber, whatever, you got plenty of service. We need more manufacturing in Bluefield area. Okay. And we have coal in West Virginia, which coal's up and down, as you know. But we need more manufacturing. Now, a lot of your large manufacturing plants, why is the automobile industry in Detroit? Because of transportation. They had air and water and road and rail. All right? My sister's in from Nebraska that I met with her yesterday dinner. And this last flood of water they had wiped out half of Nebraska. It wiped out her road. She has to drive an hour further to get anywhere because the roads and bridges were washed out in Nebraska. There are railroads. All the railroad ties and washed away and the rails are hanging up in the air. So railroad transportation, even truck transportation, so goods are going to be more expensive getting into Nebraska because of transportation. And there's not going to be as many goods coming out of Nebraska, over 1 million cows per grain. And now the farmland, after the water went down, has about 18 inches of sand left on it. The farmland looks like beaches. You can't grow corn in sand. So the price of some of our things will go up. The steak, the price will go up.
Yeah.
All right, corn items, the price will probably go up. We got a lot of that, probably a lot of soybeans and different things from the past. Okay, but manufacturing. The automobile industry used to be just up north because of labor. Labor was more skilled up north. People were more educated. And they had the transportation. But now you may get some of these car manufacturers moving south, I think. States maybe in Alabama, I know. Toyota has some plants down in Louisville, Kentucky. We have some different plants now in the south. Labor's got more skill. And us Southerns got less ignorant. Okay? And that's why you're here, to overcome ignorance. In Margot's case, it's gonna be hard to do.
That's right.
Okay, so cost is a payment of cash or the commitment to pay cash in the future for the purpose of generating revenue. And we know cost is materials, labor, and overhead in this accounting. Direct cost can be traced directly to the object. Just like I asked you about your book. You got materials such as paper. You got the overhead, that was the printing presses, and you had labor, people running the presses and so forth. But everything you have is materials, labor, and overhead. Now, direct cost is part of that item. Okay? Now, construction. Did anybody pass through construction this morning?
Yes.
They're building something, then aren't they? You know, the thing about cost accounting, building a house or an apartment or a dormitory. Okay? Some of these days when you're still living in the area and you have great grandchildren, they may see a dorm over here. Okay? Maybe grandchildren, I'm really too poor to do. All right. But that's construction. Okay, what are some of the direct materials, say, that will go into making an automobile? Steel. And you've got all these electronic things and wiring. You've got maybe some leather or plastic for doors and seats. Those are all direct materials for making a product. And you got labor. You got these assembly lines, these car factories, and you got overhead. Now, when I worked at Chrysler Corporation in Detroit, we had factory nurse. He was factory overhead. I had a foreman. He was factory overhead. We had janitorial. They were factory overhead. We had people that were delivering materials to us. They were factory overhead. They were not working on the product. Okay? You got to work on the product. Now, if you passed construction this morning, I hadn't forgot about that, and you came through construction, fella on the dozer, fella in the truck dumping the material, they are direct labor on it. All right, what are some of the direct materials that goes in to make the highway? What? No material in it. What material goes into making a road?
The asphalt.
Right, what's it made out of? Tar and gravel and so on. That's direct material. Now, if you see the flag person, they're indirect labor, and that's factory overhead. If you see the foreman, he's indirect labor, factory overhead. All right. Any other kind of supervisor is factory overhead. So direct and indirect. Indirect is the flag girl, the flag man. Indirect is the foreman. And Now, when you go by a construction site, you probably see more indirect labor, people standing around goofing off, than you do direct labor. People are actually working. Okay? Indirect supervisor is factory overhead. Direct, indirect, you can trace direct. So here are the three. Materials, labor, and overhead. Now you're gonna have a few entries connected with those. And, these two chapters we have on natural accounting, it makes, of course, some of you will need to take natural accounting much easier. You know, think about natural accounting, it's one subject. We've had so many different subjects and principles. We've had partnerships, corporations, proprietorships. We've had payroll accounting. We've had accounting for bonds and stock. We had to account for retailing and service, and then corporations. But manufacturing accounting is one item. It's just studying manufacturing accounting. It's easier than counting 212. Well, 212, 202. They'll be part of the finished product. All right, examples of direct material, the cost of wood, cost of electronic components, silicone wafers in a computer chip, tires for an automobile. Cost of employee wages, the direct labor cost. They got to be working on the product. The wages of employees who cut guitars out. Mechanics' wages for repairing an automobile. And you can use cost accounting too for repair shops, automobile shops, garages. And some cost accounting techniques. Who is majoring in Ms. Grover's program, health management? Anybody? But even in that, you can use cost accounting techniques in an operating room, emergency room, materials, labor, and overhead goes into those patients, okay? Heating and lighting is factory overhead, repairing and maintenance, depreciation, property taxes, insurance on the factory bill, everything connected with that factory bill and this factory overhead. All right, if you were reading these, leather is direct materials, coolants, that sold baseball gloves is factory overhead, wages of assembly line employees is direct labor, and ink used to print, and autographing the glove is what? Now, I want you to turn to your exercises in your book. I don't have mine with me. Turn to your exercises, your textbook. All right, I want you to turn to page 909, page 909. I want you to work exercise 1 and 2 in 5 minutes. Exercise 1 and 2, 5 minutes. And you find exercise 1 and 2. Yes. Take a minute and write down answers to those two exercises. We're gonna review what we're trying to learn. Social Security. Okay, Alexandra, how about wheels? Wheels on material. Okay, say, how about glass used in a vehicle's windshield? Materials. William, how about wages of assembly line worker? Direct labor. Jessica, how about a V8 automobile engine?
Direct cost.
Direct material. And how about depreciation of robotic assembly line equipment, Alexander?
Overhead.
Definitely factory overhead. How about a steering wheel, Kelly? Hills and Margot, printing safety women. Painting safety masks for employees working in the paint room.
Factory.
Factory overhead. And Evan, how about salary of a test driver?
Direct labor.
No.
Overhead.
Overhead. He is not part of making that vehicle. And so forth, so it's factory overhead. All right, getting on down to the second group here. Classified cost, that's material, labor, and overhead, the same thing. So, Millie, how about residence for body wash products. That is direct material. And even how about scents and fragrances used in making soaps and detergents? Direct materials. And Franco, how about plant manager salary? That's your overhead. What?
Teamwork.
Well, or depreciation on the assembly line. All right. How about maintenance supplies, Arthur? Maintenance supplies. Yes, and Carlos, how about packaging material, which are a significant portion of the total product cost? That could go either way. That's debatable. If you have Cheerios, they gotta be in a box, don't they? But they're not part of the Cheerios. So we could call it factory overhead. Now, boxes anymore can't even be classified as advertising costs, so that was totally debatable. But factory overhead's okay. What about wages, Robert, of production line employee? Direct labor. How about wages paid to factory department employees in the Fire River, Utah paper product plant? Wages paid to packaging department employees. Alexander again?
I believe it's direct labor. Or would it be over?
All right, this is paper. I guess if you buy dental paper, pack of paper, whatever you want to call it, it's gonna be some kind of plastic. It's not part of the product though. So I would probably take it back your way. How about salaries of an engineer, Jessica?
Factory overhead.
Engineers, surveyors, all these people are factory overhead. All right, now you got a gist. Now, one more thing we're going to do here. This is number 4. See, number 3 is still, is it factory overhead or is it not? But let me give you a couple more slides here and keep your books just right there on exercise 4. I mentioned that prime cost was materials, labor. Conversion cost is labor and factory overhead. Conversion cost are the cost of converting materials into a finished product. Direct labor is both prime and conversion. And I've got a meeting at 10:30 downstairs, so we'll be getting out of here by 10:30. We're going to meet and recommend to the dean and the provost what to do about our candidates. Anyway, the 2 candidates are like this. One candidate we had here, he was very funny, humorous. I like that. The other guy, half Native American, and he was really sharp and really organized. I like that. And gave a good teaching demo. But I told the committee that the man with the humor will survive here longer than the man that will probably go on the warpath. That's probably how we'll recommend it. We'll recommend the professor with the humor over the one that was serious. Okay? You need a sense of humor when putting up with some of you students. And you all probably need a sense of humor in putting up with some of us. Okay? All right, we know that, again, I don't know if I'm going backwards or if I'm going forward. Want to skip through that a minute? All right, now here is our next exercise. I want you to look at what product cost is. Materials, labor, and what? Factory overhead, right? All right, now look at period cost. Selling expenses, administrative expenses. Now take 1 minute and do exercise 4. The what?
Says A through what? We just do like A through H.
It doesn't mean you can't. People with a higher level IQ might get to Q part though.
Right.
Okay, let's do the same thing again. William, we'll start with you. How about cost of information technology support for the corporate headquarters?
Period.
Definitely period. Jessica. Appreciation on sewing machines.
Product.
And B product, oh, that's factory. Fabric used during production. Alexandra,
Product.
okay. And how about depreciation on office equipment, Robert?
Period.
Period, right. Okay, Carlos. All the way back to you. How about advertising expenses? Which one? Now, you only got 2 choices. They're on the screen. They're both lit up in blue. Pick a blue choice. Right. Okay. And also, how about repairs and maintenance costs for the sewing machines in the factory? And we brought that cost because it's factory overhead. Okay, Franco? Get your head together with your neighbor and give me an answer for we get to. Salaries of production, quality control, supervisor. Salary of production, quality control. It'll be factory overhead, yes. And quality control is it just examine the door panel was finished car or whatever. Is part and necessary, which factory overhead. Product cost. Okay. How about utility costs for the office? Melinda. All right, then the period cost. And Billy, how about? I get you. Sales commission, definitely period cost. Okay. D, salaries of distribution center personnel. Yeah. Distribution center, since you're going to major in easy correctional marketing, distribution center could be something as simple as a warehouse. Okay. And Evan, how about wages of sewing machine operator?
Is it product?
Definitely product, direct labor. And how about factory janitor supplies? How about that one, Marco?
Product.
It is, it's factory overhead. And how about chief financial officer salaries, Kelly? Definitely period cost. Chief financial officers, what about the home office? How about travel costs of media relation employees, say?
Period.
All right, yeah, definitely, that'd be sales. And how about factory supervisors?
Product.
Definitely product, even though it's factory overhead. And anyone, how about oil used to lubricate a sewing machine? Indirect materials, product. Okay, property taxes on the factory building. Product, factory overhead. Now, this morning, you should have a handle on the three costs, materials, labor, and overhead. You should have a handle on what is period cost and product cost. And you should have had these exercises already finished. Margot, you asked, could you get to Q? I asked you all to do the first 6 or 7 exercises for today, didn't I?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Did anybody say yeah?
Yeah.
I got more yows. I got more yays than nays, Margot, but yeah, those were assigned. Okay. Now, moving on to one other concept this period. And they give you some examples of period, which is advertising, sales, commissions, office salaries, office depreciation, office equipment, and so forth. That was just more examples of what we just did. Substantiability, we'll look at that later. I want to get over to all right, the balance sheet, we do have 3 inventories, finished, work in process materials. That's the only change. The income statement, the only change is we buy our merchandise in a retail business. We have no merchandise in a service business. We have merchandise in a manufacturing business, but we make that merchandise. Cost of goods manufactured. Over here, you may have purchases. Over here, you have manufacturing. Now, here's what I want us to look at. Preparing a manufacturer statement. That's what be some of your homework. Do a manufacturing statement. Now, today is April the what? What? Thursday will be April then the 25th, right? And then next Tuesday will be April will be the 30th. What's next Tuesday?
30th.
And then what is next Thursday? May the
3rd.
and then what do exams start?
The week after.
All right, so we got what, 3 more days in this class this semester? Eva, don't you cry, dear. 3 more classes, folks. Did you think it was that close? No, you didn't. Let's try our homework for the next 2 or 3 days. All right, we're going to do a manufacturer statement. And since I'll have to get in your grades quick, and the exam will be multiple choice. Guess what? Sometimes next week, part of your exam is going to be during class time. At least 20 points of it. 20 points of your exam is this. I will give it to you, one problem. I'll give you 20 minutes. Either next Tuesday, probably next Tuesday, to do one of these. That's 20 points of your exam. All right, so you gotta know it. Can't let you out of doing the manufacturing statement. It's the only new statement in cost accounting. All right, so we take the following data is given. That's not a statement, it's just information. So on a manufacturer statement, you're gonna have to do cost of materials used. Beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending inventory gives you cost of materials used. You're gonna have to add up all your factory overhead, and you're gonna have to know your labor. All right, here's what I want you to do next Thursday. 20 points of your exam. A manufacturing statement. Grabs it next Thursday. I guess you can only make 80 on your exam on exam day.
Next Thursday, we'll be in North Carolina for baseball.
So you're gonna be absent. Alexander, if you're going for baseball, you know, I'll make something like that up. We'll work that out. Okay. Now, manufacturer statement. We gotta find their materials we use. Labor is usually a one-liner. In fact, your overhead may be a one-liner, or you may have to pick it out like we did in those exercises. Which one is factory overhead? And then you gotta add that to beginning work in process, subtract ending work in process. And 290,000 goes all the way up here as your purchases on your income statement. Cost of goods manufactured. Now, if we had time, I would ask you to do a statement, but we don't have time. I will give you some assignments. I got a meeting at 10:30. I want you to try exercise 7. That's classifying cost in a service company. That's exercise. All right, I want you to practice a couple of manufacturing statements. Number 14 is an easy exercise. I want you to do problem 1A. It's an easy exercise. It's about a 3-minute exercise problem, like we did this morning. Problem 1A.
Yeah, that goes from A to Z.
Yeah. A to your grade. Z for zero. Okay. Now I want you to do problem 4A only for the first company, Reiner Company. I want you to do 4A only for one company. Now please try to have those for Thursday, folks. It's important that you learn this manufacturing statement. So we'll let you all go because I got a meeting at 10:30.
It's 26 marks.